This is the game plan. Let's go. When the team's on the air, you better know that it's over. These dudes colder than wintertime, grab a pullover. And if Cordell starts to speak, better know that it's on. He shut you down before you speak to let you know that you're wrong. So get your facts right, homie, before you step in the flames. Because James hates sitting down and listening to lames. And if Danny got $1 for every show that he kills, he'd be a millionaire living up in Beverly Hills. But if Holden wasn't a good guy, you'd probably be dead. Because this dude won't stop until he gets in your head. So turn the volume right up, because the game plan is on. The best in sports commentary is right after this song. Peace.
And welcome into a good Wednesday evening. It's Hump Day, the game plan. We're here. Always a pleasure to have you guys with us. Of course, I am your host, as usual, Cordell Moody, alongside with me, Eric Alvarado. Eric, how's it going?
Just trying not to laugh out loud. It is Hump Day. I forgot about that.
It absolutely is.
Good news for pointing that out.
How you doing today, though?
I'm doing good mentally, physically. I'm still sick, so I apologize if my voice isn't totally all there. But we're gonna get this done.
We are gonna get this done. There's a lot, obviously, as usual, to get into, and you're not the only one who's going through the blues right now. There's a little trouble in the Steel City, of course, with the Steelers. The Steelers are going through a little bit of AB Big Ben problems, and we're just gonna play a little clip. If you guys do not know what happened, it basically Antonio Brown was a little upset after a play. He thought he was wide open, didn't get the ball. Big Ben obviously missed him when you see the play in widescreen on the replay. And so he decided to have a little temper tantrum. He threw the Gatorade, all of this hoo-ha, and it's caused a lot of noise. And Big Ben actually decided to have a little something to say about it. So we're gonna listen in on what he had to say, and then we'll give you guys our thoughts.
He got upset because he was open, which I can understand. Sometimes that happens. I was disappointed because it's not like I intentionally missed him. It's not like I intentionally didn't throw it to him. I was doing what my reads tell me to do. I don't even want to say I made a mistake because I was reading the side I was supposed to read. It just is unfortunate that it happened, and it's unfortunate that he acted and reacted that way. I told him on the sideline, maybe just come talk to me. Ask me what happened. Tell me that you were open. That goes a lot further than throwing a temper tantrum. AB is the best receiver in the world, maybe one of the best to ever play the game. I'm not trying to call AB out, but I just think that, this is causing a distraction that none of us really need.
And that is exactly what Big Ben had to say about it. Eric, what were your thoughts after what he had to say about his wide receiver?
I mean, first of all, let's be honest. Antonio Brown was totally out of line, right? I mean, dude, you're the highest paid receiver in NFL. Like, the Steelers stuck their neck out for you. Like, be an example for the younger guys on the team. I don't see this, causing much more of a stir in the organization. It's a pretty very well-run organization. I think that Mike Tomlin is getting into that locker room and nipping this in the butt. But yeah, I mean, what Roethlisberger said, like, it's the truth. Like, listen, you're gonna get more done if you just come to me on the sideline and talk to me like a man. He's like, I missed you. You know what I mean? Like, Ben Roethlisberger is a Super Bowl winning MVP. He made a mistake, or he just didn't see you. He made a decision before he saw you. And listen, Antonio, calm down, right?
No. Wrong. No.
You disagree.
I disagree. The hypocrisy that I'm hearing from Big Ben. You're telling him to come to you on the sidelines and let's have a conversation about it. No need to make it public. No need to, make it a distraction and make it some type of noise for everybody to talk about. Come to me on the sidelines and let's talk about it. And then here you go. You're in the same locker room with him, right? So go to him if you have a problem. You guys talk it out. No need for it to be aired out this way. No need for you as the leader to then come out and make the statement you made for now the entire media to have this conversation of, is there a problem in the Steel City? You caused that because you didn't take your own advice. The hypocrisy. No, I don't believe anything Big Ben has to say. I do not agree with it because he didn't even follow it himself.
Well, I don't know. We don't know if Big Ben did go to him already before he came out to the media.
Then why even come out to the media? Why not drop it? Hey, me and Antonio Brown, we had a conversation about it. He knows what I said to him. We're going to keep it as that, and we're going to move on, and no worries about it. Our chemistry's still good. We still have love for each other, and let's keep it going. could have easily said something simple as that, and I just said that on the fly.
Yeah, no, you're right. You got a point. But what does Antonio Brown got to argue? I mean, and complain about? I mean, through the first 4 games, he's been targeted 45 times. That's like an average of 11 times per game. Like, there's just no need for it. And what Mike Tomlin said is, AB, he needs to control his emotions and be a professional. You know what I mean? Like, this is not something that the team needs. Antonio Brown has a knack for being in the news for the wrong things. Like, this is coming after that Facebook Live issue last year. Like, this is not a good look for you, man. But listen, I'm not surprised because the receivers nowadays in this generation, they're all divas.
Yep.
They're all divas. So I'm not surprised about it. I don't think it's going to be an issue moving forward. Like I said, Big Ben, Mike Tomlin, the Steelers organization, they're all veterans, professionals. This is going to be a one-time deal. You won't hear about it again.
So then my next question then for you is, you say we're not going to hear about it again, but Big Ben doesn't usually miss his receivers like this. He doesn't usually miss a big play opportunity like this, but he is. Everybody's talking about the fact that he's already discussed retiring. Maybe, they say that when you start talking about it, you're kind of already 1 foot out. Do you think he's kind of just his head's not in anymore? Maybe he is not seeing how he used to see. There's speculation out here now.
He might have lost a step, but Big Ben is still Big Ben. He's still a great quarterback. There's still a lot of teams that would love to have him on their team. But, watching the play a couple times, he made a decision quickly, and his eyes weren't down that side of the field. I believe they still got a first down or very close to it on the play anyway. Listen, like I said, he is a Super Bowl winning MVP. He's not perfect. He's not perfect. He might have missed you one time. But listen, Antonio, 45 targets in 4 games. Trust me, Big Ben is looking at you a lot.
But clearly,
right?
But he is looking at him a lot. But I'm just saying, he
missed the play, Moody.
He missed the play that he doesn't normally miss.
Let's not get too down on him because he missed one play.
But it's a play he doesn't normally miss. Come on now.
Well, I'm sure every quarterback misses a play a game at the very least.
Well, I guess we're gonna find out because we still have a lot more football to go. And as of right now, the Steelers, I don't know why, but the Steelers are picked right now as favorites to win the Super Bowl, interestingly enough, after 4 games through the season. But besides that controversy between one quarterback, there's another controversy going on with another quarterback, and it's with the Titans. And the Titans have decided to sign Brandon Weeden. And do you think that that's a good move for them? Are you happy with that move?
I don't know how anybody could be happy with that move. Brandon Weeden?
What's
Brandon
your
who?
issue with it? So what's your issue? I mean, the way that
what has he done? What has he done?
Right. Well, I'm pretty sure that they do not have confidence in their backup quarterback that they have right now. So they have to pick up somebody off the streets. It's not a lot to pick up. So, it's not like you got a lottery pick going on here.
No. And let's be honest, there's not too many options out there. I mean, there's one in mind. I'm not going to say him quite yet because I want to talk about Brandon Weeden just a little bit. I don't see what they see in him. I mean, his track record in the league isn't that good. I believe he's been in the league since 2012, and that year is when the most games he started since he's been in the league. 15 games for the Browns that year, 14 touchdowns, 17 interceptions. And then since, he hasn't even started more than half of a season since then. And his stints in Dallas and Houston haven't been anything to write home about. I mean, man, Brandon Weeden. I mean, hopefully it's just a temporary thing, or hopefully they don't need him because he's shown that he's not somebody you can rely on.
Well, he's shown that he can be reliable as a backup. I'll give him that much because he did play pretty well when he was a backup for the Cowboys. Now he's not the guy who he can step in for a whole bunch of weeks and lead you to the playoffs. I'm not saying that, but he's a backup who can give you a game or two if needed. I'll give him that much.
A game or two, maybe,
yeah.
But if you need him for any extended amount of time, you know what he's guaranteed for? To give you more interceptions than touchdowns. That's for sure.
That is, and let's talk about that guy. That guy that's out there, that
the
elephant
one
in the
that I wanted to
room.
mention.
Yeah, that
Thank-
guy. I don't get how, like, I get furious, absolutely furious when I saw this signing. I do not agree with it, and it's simply because Colin Kaepernick is out there. You cannot tell me that Brandon Whedon is a better option than Colin Kaepernick. There's no
Not at
one
all.
out here who can make this argument. Everybody's having this conversation about Colin Kaepernick is not being blackballed. He just doesn't play that well. It's his football. Let's just stick to football with Colin Kaepernick. And we're saying that Colin Kaepernick just isn't good enough to be on any of these teams. And now there's a possible hole for the Titans, and they go and get Brandon freaking Whedon.
I don't understand it either. And let's not even think about the type of scheme that the Titans run right now, right?
Mhm.
Just skills for skills. Kaepernick is a better quarterback than Whedon, right? And then when you actually do look at the scheme that the Titans run, Kaepernick's skill set is very comparable to Mariota's. Like it seems like a seamless fit. You know what I mean? But I think I'm done being surprised about this whole Kaepernick thing.
Mhm.
I mean, I think it would be more surprising now if he did get signed somewhere.
You think so?
I think now it's more surprising if he would get signed than if he doesn't.
So we've just accepted the fact that, you know what, it's just not happening. His
haven't
career may be
personally-
done.
Yeah, I haven't personally accepted it, right? Because I think it's wrong. You know what I mean? I think that if somebody can help your football team win, which is all that matters, put politics aside, like that's all that matters, winning football games. And if he can help you, I don't see why you would look past him,
It's interesting that you actually just said that. Put politics aside, and he can help your football team. And
Right.
the point that makes it so interesting is that everybody keeps on talking about sticking to sports, but when it comes to Kaepernick, nobody sticks to sports. It's crazy to me, and it's really unfortunate. I really wish he would just get back in the league. And like you said, he is a good fit for the Titans. He really is,
Great
because
fit.
they like to have their quarterback on the move. Brandon Whedon.
Not sure there's a better fit.
Yeah, and Brandon Whedon isn't your quarterback who's gonna scramble on bootlegs and everything. He's more of a pocket passer.
He's just not going to run. He's not going to be able to run the same kind of scheme that Mariota can.
Exactly. So it would be less of a struggle because you're not even having the argument, well, Brandon Whedon knows this offense already. No, that's garbage. He doesn't. He's got to learn this offense, brand new offense. He's got to learn in a certain amount of time, just in case Mariota can't go. So
Yeah.
it's really eye opening. I that's all I can say. I'm done having expectations that somebody's going to pick him up. As you said, maybe it's just time for us to accept it and let it be what it is. And maybe his career really is over. Maybe he made that sacrifice for the better good. That's all I can say about him. And I hope he's doing well out there, because he's clearly not going to be getting back in the league anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't see it happening. It's the sad truth.
It
It's
is.
the sad truth.
And you know what's even more sad?
What's that?
Mike Glennon and his game. His game in general is sad. So sad that
It's not as bad as Whedon's, just to say.
it's not. But it is that sad that he has now been benched, and Mitchell Trubisky is now officially the starter going into this week of Week 5. Do you see this being a Deshaun Watson type of thing where he turns around this entire franchise just because they plugged him in now?
Well, I think that's the expectations. I don't think that's fair weight to put on the kid's shoulders. You know what I mean? Like, the Bears organization and the Bears front office,
Mhm.
I think there's more pressure on them than Trubisky himself, because they took Trubisky second overall,
Yep.
and they could have took Watson.
Mm-hmm.
So if it turns out, and not to mention, what was it? Trubisky, he only started 13 games in North Carolina.
And that's the key. That is the key right there, for the fact that he only started 13 games
only
compared
started
to
13
Watson,
games.
who had years of experience.
Dominated. And so I think the Bears front office, they're under a lot of pressure. I think the pressure's all on them to make sure that this works and to save face, because like I said, they could have took Watson, but they took Trubisky. They saw something in him, and they took him second overall. I think it's going to be unfair to expect him to do exactly what Watson's doing right now, especially because Watson, he came into a team who was looking at getting a third consecutive divisional title. You know what I mean? A team that was already like established, already winning. You know what I mean? So he came into a great situation. The Bears, Trubisky's coming into a spot where it's not, as successful as of recent than the Texans team. So I don't expect too much. I expect him to definitely be an upgrade from Glennon.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think it's fair to put that kind of pressure on him to be as good as Watson. Because personally, I coming out of college, I thought Watson would be better.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure what the Bears saw. I mean, he did look all right in the preseason, right? He was 36 for 53 with 364 yards in the preseason. That's some good numbers. I mean, it is the preseason, but still. And not to mention, he's playing the Vikings, the Ravens, and the Panthers in the next 3 weeks. So those are tough defenses to go against, especially as a rookie. And so we'll see how he does,
Yeah, we will. And I do not like this move, and I will tell you guys exactly why when we come right back after this break. You're listening to WUBA 88.1 FM. Stay tuned. Don't change that dial. And we are back here at the Game Plan. Your host, as always, Cordell Moody, alongside with me, Eric Alvarado. We were just talking about the Bears. And
Bears.
My issues with the Bears, and my issue is simple. You wasted your money. It's that simple. The fact that you spent so much money on Glennon, I would have thought you would have given him more than 4 weeks to be in this offense. It's a new offense for him to learn this new offense, to get more custom. And it's not like you've surrounded him with a bunch of weapons. You haven't. You haven't given him a good support cast to help him succeed. You have not put him in a place for success. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Trubisky comes in and those weapons are actually better than we thought. But as of right now, I can only go off what I've seen. And from what I've seen, you don't have the weapons for him to succeed. It's not like he's a Tom Brady out here who can make his weapons better. No. He needs his weapons to make him better. And you've given up on him way too early. And then the next question that I have is, last week, Trubisky wasn't ready. This week, he is. What has changed from last week to this week? Because this isn't Glennon's first bad game. We've been asking this question if Mike Glennon should be benched every single week. And every single week, Trubisky's not ready. And all of a sudden, Trubisky's ready. What changed? How did that happen in a week? 7 days, he's ready now. From week 3 to week 4, from week 4 to week 5, he is now ready to be in this offense. I think they're setting him up for failure just like they set Mike Glennon up for failure. And it's even worse when you set him up for failure because you also put a lot of stock into him as far as draft picks and whatever have you. So you have one quarterback who's got a lot of draft picks on him and the other quarterback who's got a lot of money on him. I don't see this playing out well. I hope that if they're really doing this, Trubisky is actually really, really ready to go. And they're not just doing this because of the cry out because Mike Glennon is being so bad. I would rather Mike Glennon sit in there and stink it up and Trubisky continue to get better than put Trubisky out there to stink it up already.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it was a matter of Trubisky being ready. I mean, he was ready. I think he's been ready. It's just they gave Glennon 3 years, $45 million. They had to give him a fair shake. You know what I mean? At least just as a bridge quarterback. You know what I mean? I think it was, to me, it was just a matter of time of when the switch would happen. Did I expect it to be 4 games into the season? No, probably not. But I think they had to give Glennon his turn, or a chance at least, because they gave him the money. They gave him the money, so they had to give him a try. I think Trubisky's been ready, and he's gonna be an upgrade. That's for sure. You think that they thought that he wasn't ready and they just had to wait a week for him, or do you think he should? Do you think he just should have started from the get?
No, I think that he should have been benched from the beginning. When they signed Mike Glennon, everybody knew the plan. We knew the plan was Mike Glennon's going to come in here, and he has the chance to either be a bridge quarterback or he has a chance to be the starting quarterback. And then we knew that the Bears were going to draft a young a young quarterback to come in here as well to challenge, push him, but essentially be the backup, learn, and be the future from the bridge quarterback that you have right now. So
Yeah.
Glennon was always going to start. As soon as he signed his contract, you don't sign somebody to that type of contract unless you know that they're going to be your starter. So
Right.
he's obviously the Bears' plan is now failed. It has crumbled, and you've already brought up the three defenses that they've got coming up next, right?
Right.
Now,
Yeah.
the thing that I'm thinking about, besides just the three that you have coming up next, is the division that you are in as well.
Right.
Right? You have the Packers, you have the Lions that you have to go up against, and you have the Vikings. You have all three of them to go up against, and I don't see it being a game changer where all of a sudden their season is going to be saved because they made this one change. They were going to be at the bottom no matter what. So you might as well let him sit back and learn and not put this pressure on him.
Right. I don't think that, the wins-loss columns had high expectations in the Bears, for the Bears. I just I think that the pressure is not really on Trubisky. I think he's going to do fine, personally. I think he's going to do well. The team itself might not do well. They might not win a bunch of games, but they're not expected to. It's just, do you think that if this ends up being like a colossal failure, that John Fox's job security might be at stake?
No, because your job security is you're always hedging your bets when you have a rookie quarterback in, because that'll be your excuse. I have a rookie quarterback in here, This is,
I guess,
you can't expect me to take us somewhere in his first year. He needs time to develop, and that can be your excuse for any type of rookie quarterback that you have. So no, I don't see his job being on the line if things don't go well with this season. And
what about the GM?
I don't know. Honestly,
somebody's got to be held accountable if this whole thing doesn't work out because of all of the gave up to get him to move up one spot. They could have had a definite, I think it was well known that Deshaun Watson was going to be a good quarterback. It just was a matter of time when. I mean, nobody expected him to blow up for 57 points last week or anytime soon. But it's just you put all this faith into a quarterback that only started 13 games, and if it doesn't work out, somebody's got to be held accountable for that.
Yeah, someone's going to have to be held accountable, but I don't know if it's going to be the GM because, like I said, everybody's going to hedge their bets on the quarterback. Now, if you want to say that he should be – it's a fireable offense because they signed Mike Glennon, you can go that route as well. But I don't know. I don't think that they're going to do that. I really don't think that. I think they will give this more time between the GM and the obvious head coach, and we'll see what happens. I think at least they have until next season. They have this season and next season, and if things still don't work, then it's something completely different because the GM, it's not like his draft picks are floundering right now. They make a lot, but the picks that they have made, it's not like they're floundering. It's not like he isn't showing results in other ways. It could just be one bad move, and you're entitled to have one bad move as a GM when you're moving around so many different pieces and trying to do the best for them. But like I said, my concern is just the division that they play in because it's a tough one. They are in an extremely tough division. And speaking of divisions, we're 4 games into it. What is your toughest division right now? I would say that's one of the top, but what would you say is one of your toughest divisions?
So you think it's one of the top? Do you think it's the top NFC North? Do you think it's the toughest?
I think that
I mean, it's one of them for
it's,
sure.
it's one of them. I'll give you more of my take after, but you go
Yeah,
ahead
I
and
think
roll through your toughest divisions in the NFC, and then you go into the AFC.
I think it's fair to say that the NFC North is probably the toughest division. Excuse me. I really thought I was gonna have like a breakdown there. All right, excuse me, guys. The NFC North. I think it's very fair to say that they might be the most competitive division, but also I think the West and the South can compete for that. I'm not going to put too much stock in the NFC East because I'm not really sold on the Cowboys and the Giants. We all know what's going on over there. That's not getting any better. But I think I would put NFC North and then NFC South 1 and 2 as the most competitive in that conference. But in the AFC, now it gets interesting because I think competitive-wise, the AFC West, and we got to take into consideration the injury to Derek Carr, but the AFC West and probably the AFC South. I think especially the competition between those divisions within them, the Chiefs and the Broncos and the Raiders, they're going to be battling it out all year. That's a really tough division, and I'm not sure. I actually had the Raiders winning that division this year, but now with the injury to Derek Carr, who knows? The AFC South, man, I'm not sure. I mean, I said from the beginning that the Texans would win. I'm not sure about the Jags because, like I said last night, that's a Jekyll and Hyde team, and who knows with them? You never know what you're going to get from that team. But so I'm going to say that the most competitive division in the AFC is the AFC West, and the most competitive division in the NFC I'm going to go with the North. What do you think?
Okay, a lot to unload there. So you have the AFC West and the NFC North, correct?
Yeah.
Cool. So I would have to,
because and also I think it's safe to say that the NFC South is a close second. It's like 1A, 1B. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't be surprised if someone wanted to say that NFC South was the most competitive.
Well, the thing is, the NFC South being the most competitive completely falls on the Panthers and the Bucks, because the Bucks and the Panthers are having a good season so far, but they're having ugly wins. It's not like they're
not
here.
Pretty.
Yeah, it's not pretty. They're not up here lighting up the scoreboard, except for this past week, of course, against the Patriots. But everybody's doing that, so that's no big deal. But they've been struggling offensively, so that's why I'm hesitant, and I'd have to go with the NFC North, of course, as well, because of the fact that all these offenses can score at will. Let's get that out the way. All of those offenses that we're talking about the Lions, we're talking about the Packers, we're talking about the Vikings. Those offenses can put up points, and then when the Packers get healthy, because they're banged up right now, right?
Right.
So when they get healthy, that defense will be a lot better, and some say that the Packers are favorites over the Falcons when they get healthy, or they're going to be both battling it out for the top spot in the NFC. So I definitely think that the NFC North absolutely is the division. Now, the AFC West, that's a little bit more tricky, because now that Derek Carr is gone, that changes my opinion on things. I don't know if the AFC West is anymore. I definitely would say that they were.
With Derek Carr, it would have to be the number one most competitive in the AFC, right?
Yes.
I agree.
If Derek Carr isn't there, then you're just talking about the Chiefs and we're talking Denver. And then to me, I feel like everybody has two teams almost. You got the Ravens and you got the Steelers.
Every division's got the two teams.
Yeah, you got except for the South.
Except for the South.
Except for the South right now. The South is always up for grabs for anybody. It's never like there's one team that really stands out. And even this season, there's not one team that really stands out. The only reason the Texans are standing out is because they have a rookie starting quarterback out there lighting it up right now. But it's not like they're all turning.
They're playing well.
They are playing.
Oh, they're playing well.
They are, but I still don't. When Andrew Luck comes back, he is starting to practice this week. He just started practicing today. So when Andrew Luck comes back, I'm sure this division will get a lot more interesting. Of course, the Jags are still interesting as well, but they've just fallen from grace after losing to the Jets. So I don't have a
They turned into the Jags. Like you said.
Yeah. I don't have a best team in the AFC right now. I would say out of the entire
best division or best team?
Best division, sorry. I do not have a best division right now for the AFC because I feel like they're all equal at this point in time except for the AFC South. So I think we can also agree from this conversation that the NFC North is then the best division in football. Or would you say the AFC West is still? If you had to choose between the two.
I mean, it's tough. I'm going to have to say the best division in football right now. It's a toss-up. It really is a toss-up. You might want to lean towards the AFC West just because the Chiefs are in that division. Mm-hmm. And they're the hottest team in football right now. And, the Broncos look pretty formidable too. I think it's just, just depends on what you're looking at. I'm going to say the AFC West.
All right, well, I'm going to go with the NFC North, so we're going to see which one of us is right down the road.
I can't be mad at that.
We're going to see.
I can't be mad at that.
Exactly. So, but we'll see exactly which one is right, but we're going to take another quick break. We'll be right back. WUBA 88.1 FM. Me, your host, Cordell Moody, alongside with me, my man, Eric Alvarado. Don't change that dial. We'll be right back. And we are back at the game plan. Me, your host, Cordell Moody, alongside with me, I got my man, Eric Alvarado, WUBA 88.1 FM. And we still got more sports to talk about with you guys. We were just talking about who has the hardest division. Now, we're going to get into who's going to win each and every one of those divisions after getting 4 game samples from each team. So let's get right into it. I'm going to talk to you guys about the AFC East. Now, the AFC East, obviously, every year, you know who it is, right? Patriots it up, right? Like, let's not even
surprise.
Let's not have that conversation. But you know what? I feel bold. I'm making a bold prediction here.
Oh, you're bold take, a hot take right now?
This is gonna be hot. This is hot right here. I am going to say it. I'm taking the Bills to win this division this year.
Jets. I'm kidding.
I am going to take the Bills right now. I'm going off of 4 games, people. I'm not going off of 16 years. I'm not going off of what can happen in the future. I'm going off of a 4-game sample. That means
hey, this is not fair. Listen, we're making predictions for the end of the season.
Yes, we are. But the only thing I have to go off of is these 4 games because
You're right.
Everybody will say, "Oh, but the Bills haven't done anything in 16, 17 years." No. I don't care about those years. I'm talking about this year and this sample that we have right now. And this sample that we have right now is a recipe to beat New England because this is the number 1 ranked defense this week. They just claimed number 1. And it's not because they had one spectacular game against the Falcons. It has been consistent defense all 4 games. Sean McDermott has turned this defense into a monster. And if they have the number 1 ranked defense or even number 3 to number 5, I don't even care. If they have a top 5 defense, that means I guarantee you they can slow down Brady enough. And they will be able to put up points on one of the worst defenses. And that is why I think they can beat them and why I think they can get this division. It's solely because of the defense and the lack thereof from the Patriots.
All right. Listen, I respect your boldness, okay? It's just me, I'm not one to bet against the Patriots. I don't think that what we're seeing right now from the Patriots is going to happen throughout the entire season. I do think that they get this thing figured out. I mean, it is the Patriots. They always do get it figured out. Belichick even said himself, the first 4 games of the regular season is like an extended preseason. Expect them to turn things around and win this division. The Bills obviously will come in second. I will say that. But I'd be totally surprised if the Bills win this division. I really would, man. I hope they do. I'm ready for a switch. I think the entire world and the entire NFL for sure is ready for somebody else to win this. How many years straight has it been?
Well, they've won every year except for 2008, I believe. I think the Jets took it in 2008 when Favre was on their team. And 2 years. 1 year when Favre was there, I believe, and the year that Tom Brady got hurt and Matt Castle took over.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So
you're right.
There have been 2 years where Brady has not taken this division. But I'm not sitting here saying the Patriots are not going to go to the playoffs. I am not saying that. If they don't win the division, they are definitely getting a wild card. I'm putting it that way. The Bills would have to have a miraculous rest of the season, and I'm just putting a bold opinion on it. I got the confidence that they can pull this off if their defense stays what it is. Now, I do want to put this in a box. No, I want to put this in a box, and I want everybody to understand this is barring any significant injury.
Well, of course.
Right.
We're going to make these picks expecting the teams as they are now
or
to
healthier.
Stay intact.
Yes. Yeah. So if we're going off of how they are now and healthier, then yes, this is what I'm going with now. If something significant happens, an injury happens, all bets are off. Either side, either way. Because if something significant happens to the Patriots, I definitely do not think they're going anywhere, especially if it's Brady who goes down.
If Brady goes down, believe it that the Bills will win this division.
All right, so going from the AFC East, let's go into the AFC North. We got Pittsburgh, we got Baltimore, we got Cincinnati, we got Cleveland. Who do you have taking it?
I think, in all fairness, I'm going to say the Pittsburgh Steelers will win this division. I do also believe that 2 teams out of this division will make it into the playoffs, the other team being the Ravens. But I think that the Steelers have everything that they need to make a serious push to make it even to the Super Bowl. I think they can compete with every team in the AFC. They got a great running game, a great air attack, and right now their defense has been really solid lately. And but I also wouldn't be surprised if the Ravens, worked a little magic and won a division. But if I had to put money on it, I would put it with the Steelers. Would you agree?
I'm going to say that I have to agree.
Yeah.
Because this is their window.
Right now. With the sample size we got.
Well, this is their window. Like, there is no other window for them. When I say their window, I mean if they're going to win another Super Bowl, it has to be this year. It has to be.
Well, yeah.
Because if the Patriots stay how they are, this is it. If you're going to get past the Patriots, every year you run into the Patriots and you end up losing. Every time.
Yeah.
Now, while they're vulnerable, if they stay vulnerable like this and you still don't make it, you've missed it. It's over.
Yeah.
Until Brady's gone, you've missed it. Because next year, I guarantee you, they will get the pieces that they need to get this defense right.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I mean, and also with the state of the rest of that division, I mean, the Ravens have no offense. They have a really good defense. It's just when the offense puts them in terrible situations, they get the defense is going to get tired. They can't stay on the field the entire game. That's not fair. We don't know what's going on with the Bengals.
We don't.
And we do know what's going on with the Browns. It's about the same thing that happens every year. So, I mean, right now, the Steelers have a chance to run away with the division if the Ravens can't get things figured out.
Yeah, and like I said, but the Steelers do have work to do as well. They need to figure out – their offense should be a lot more explosive than it is right now. So they still have some growth to do, and I'm sure Mike Tomlin already knows that, and he's already getting those boys in gear to get that work done because he's that type of guy. So
yeah.
They're as long as they continue upward and their offense gets better, then yeah, the Steelers should be able to take it. And talking about the Ravens, I'm just not sure about Flacco. I got to be honest with you. I was a huge fan of Flacco. I was a very huge fan of Flacco, especially when Flacco and Matt Ryan first came out. They came out the same year, and everybody was, calling him Joe Cool, and you had Matty Ice. And I was like, you know what? I don't think Matt Ryan's better. I really did not think Matt Ryan was better. And to this day, I still can sit here and say that Matt Ryan at least is not as successful as Joe Flacco because
he hasn't won a
he hasn't
won a Super Bowl.
He hasn't won a Super Bowl, and
he's not a Super Bowl MVP.
And and the fact that Joe Flacco has a better record than Matt Ryan in the playoffs. Joe Flacco, I will tell you, Joe Flacco to me reminds me of an Eli Manning. He's not that great in the regular season, but playoff time comes around.
But even Eli's better than Flacco in the regular season.
Well, yeah. Well, he's had a couple years where he led the league in interceptions. So,
yes, right. But
for Eli. So
for the most part, Eli, but listen, Flacco, everybody who watches football knows that you get Flacco into the playoffs, and he's a different kind of guy.
Yep.
It's just a matter of getting there. And going, we're taking away from the Steelers right now because we did pick them.
We did, but
to take this division. But now that you mentioned it, real quick, Flacco has never had the receivers that Matt Ryan had either.
Absolutely.
Matt Ryan's got Julio Jones, arguably one of the best receivers in the league.
Yep.
And Joe Flacco's never had anybody like that.
Nope.
That's for sure. So, and he's done more with less.
He has.
It's just right now he is dealing with his back injury.
You do have to be careful when you say more with less, because when people say more with less, now we start talking about the entire team. And what we do know is that if we're comparing it to Matt Ryan, Matt Ryan never had the defense that the Baltimore Ravens had that Joe Flacco had to work with.
I know that everybody wants to talk about that Ravens defense that won the Super Bowl in 2012, but they didn't win that Super Bowl. That defense wasn't that good, they haven't been that good since a long time ago. It's been a while since the Ravens had a totally dominant team, like defensive team that everybody, likes to tag them with.
I agree with you, but the fact that you had Ray Lewis to gather those boys together to play at the level needed. Now,
yes, having Ray Lewis is a big plus. That's for sure.
It is, and they played at the level that was needed to play at. Now, I can tell you the Falcons have not, and we saw the debacle that their defense went through in the Super Bowl. That would have never happened to a Ray Lewis-led defense, and we all know that. They would never have given up a 23, 25-point lead in the Super Bowl.
No.
So that's where I'm going with it. But we do have to change topics real quick, so let's get into the AFC South teams. So we're looking at Jacksonville, we're looking at Houston, we're looking at Tennessee, we're looking at Indianapolis. And I got to say, for this division, since Mariota did go down, I'm going to have to go with the Houston Texans. Now, if Mariota comes back, it's a different ballgame. I would normally go with the Colts, but I can't go with the Colts because I don't know what type of Andrew Luck we're going to get back. I really don't know what Andrew Luck we are going to get to see moving forward because of his injury. He's already taken longer than people expected. He's just started practicing again. So we'll see exactly where he is and if he is the Andrew Luck that can lead them. But until I see that, I have to go by default to the Houston Texans. What about you?
I agree. And even with Andrew Luck coming back, we just don't know, like, with a 1-3 record, like, have they already dug themselves too deep of a hole to get out of, even with Andrew Luck? So
that's very true as well, unless they can go on a run. But in order to go on that run, I believe that they could go on a run. It's not like I don't think they could. But Andrew Luck has to be a better version than we've ever seen him be for them to go on this run, because he can't lead the league or be close to leading the league in turnovers either.
Right.
So we'll exactly see exactly what it is, but we'll move on to the AFC West. The AFC West, you got your Chiefs, you got your Broncos, you got your Raiders, and you got those bless your heart Chargers.
Yeah, let's just make this one super easy, right?
Okay, yeah, sure, go for it. Who do you got?
I'm gonna say the Chiefs keep up this dominance. Obviously they're not gonna go undefeated, but they will win this division, and I would almost guarantee that.
You would almost guarantee that. I can't say that definitively. I don't know. You know what? I'm going to go with the Chiefs with you, but I will not be surprised if Denver Broncos win this division. I will not be surprised. They're only one game behind right now. It's not like this huge gap between the undefeated and the Denver Broncos. They're 3-1 and one's 4-0. but Denver has that defense. Those two are going to go head to head against each other. Those games,
Yeah.
I think, will, if they split, then we have a different ball game. And I think they will split. And then after that, it's going to be on Alex Smith and Simeon. That's honestly it. Trevor Simeon and Alex
And I
Smith.
don't trust Simeon. That's what it comes down to.
Okay. So yeah, so we'll agree that we're gonna go with the Chiefs for now. But like I said, I will not be surprised if it is the Denver Broncos. But we are going to cut it at that point. We'll talk about the NFC and their division winners next show. But we are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will get into some last-minute stuff on WUBA 88.1 FM. This is Cordell Moody alongside with me, as always, Eric Alvarado. Be right back. And we are back here on WUBA 88.1 FM. I'm your man, Cordell Moody, alongside with me, Eric Alvarado. We are talking sports and can't get enough of it.
No.
Exactly. So we are going to get into these winless and one-win teams. And can they turn it around, or is it time to just bury them?
Ooh. Yeah. Well, there's a few of them.
There are a few of them, and the first one that I want to get into is a team that I don't think anybody really thought would be at least one win so far. But then again, there was a huge injury that happened to it, and that team is the Miami Dolphins. They're 1-2 AFC East with the Jets, New England, and the Bills. Do you see them turning it around, able to get into the playoffs? Wild card, obviously.
I do think they turn it around and make their record a little bit more respectable. But I don't see them making the playoffs, especially with that division. I'm going to stick with the fact that I think they're going to definitely turn it around, because I originally, at the beginning of the season, thought that they would be a pretty solid team. I thought that getting Jay Cutler would not be that. I didn't think it was going to be a downgrade from Tannehill, for sure. I thought Jay Cutler, in a system that he knows, would definitely flourish with the weapons that he has. Their defense should be better. I do see them turning it around. Definitely not playoffs, though. That's for sure.
I have always had low expectations for this team. First of all, I'm not even a huge fan of Tannehill. Let's get that out of the way. I don't think Tannehill's the guy. I never thought he was. Never think he's going to be. I've seen plenty of his games. I've seen what happens when he's playing against the tougher, stiffer defenses. So I've never had huge expectations on Tannehill. But I also acknowledge the fact that Jay Cutler had a horrific season last year. He was not good. It wasn't like teams were clamoring up to get him when he was released from the Bears. No one wanted him. He was bad. He was really bad. And everybody thought that coming to Miami and being reunited with his offensive coordinator, and he looked good in this offense. Yet, no. I did not. That was a one-year thing. It wasn't like they have a huge chemistry where they've been doing it for years. No, I don't believe in this team. I don't know what a turnaround. No, they're not going to turn around. I see them, if they're lucky, finishing 8-8, but I definitely see them honestly having a losing season.
Yeah, it's a good possibility, and Jay Cutler could just be terrible again. I had higher hopes for him in a system with Gase again. I don't know. Who knows? I could be totally wrong. Jay Cutler could just be the normal Jay Cutler as what we're used to.
Yeah, and
it's just the weapons they got. On paper, it looks like a good team.
It does, but just because on paper you look good doesn't mean you're going to play good. And the Bengals can also speak for that, because the Bengals are also 1-3, and everybody I'm sure is just as shocked about that one, just like they were about Miami, because they were their arrow was supposed to be going up, and their arrow is going down, and going down fast. And I know the Bengals, their next competition is going to be the Bills. So I at least see them going 1-4, and then from that point on, I don't think they have hope in this division to even compete for a wild card.
Yeah, I mean, I believe that excuse me, I believe that the Bengals have a better chance of turning it around than the Dolphins. And not for nothing, I do think the Bengals get the win against the Bills this upcoming week. But we'll save that for our predictions
We sure
and
will.
our game preview.
I look forward
I just
to
wanted
that.
to throw that out there. I think that the weapons that the Bengals have are just too good to not be, getting to where they were projected to. At least I think they finished the season 8-8, or maybe even better. And it's a possibility, especially if the Ravens can't get anything figured out, that they give the Ravens a run for their money for that second spot in the AFC North.
Well, if they compete with the Ravens, that means something has gone wrong with the Ravens. And if something goes wrong with the Ravens, then there's only going to be one team that comes out of the North, and that's just how I see it. If the Ravens flounder that bad that they start competing with the Bengals, then I see two teams coming out of the East, and I see two teams coming out of the West, and it is what it is at that point.
Okay, that's fair enough. I mean, they're only one game behind the Ravens, so it's not like it's going to take a major failure for the Ravens to fall behind the Bengals.
Yeah, well, you're right about that, but the way that the Bengals have played, I just don't believe in them. Their one win was not. It wasn't a good win. It wasn't a good win that they had in their one win.
No, but it was a win that they needed.
Yes.
And their offense looked like it looked better. It looked like they were on track to start getting back to what we thought the Bengals would be. And Andy Dalton and AJ Green, they will start connecting more often than not now. And also, don't forget Joe Mixon. I think he has high hopes for the season too. So I think give it a couple more games, and that arrow will start pointing back up for the Bengals.
I hope you're right, because this division is usually a three-way competition, and it's always interesting. But right now,
there's always talks that it's sometimes people think it's the best division in football. There's been years, especially
there has been years
where it was.
But obviously, one of the things that's holding them back now is the Bengals, and then the other thing that's holding them back is the Browns, who are 0-4, who I think we can both agree they're just not going anywhere this year.
Yeah, we're not going to spend too much time talking about the Browns
for
and
Browns,
their hopes.
Yes,
we know what's going on with the Browns, and it's no surprise, and their arrow will stay going down. I do think that Deshaun Kaiser is going to be a good quarterback in this league.
Mm-hmm.
They might have found the right guy. It's going to take some time, but like I said, we're not going to talk too much about the Browns because there's not much to talk about. It's the same old, same song and dance with these guys.
It is. It really is. It's every year. I wonder when the year will be that it's different. We'll see exactly when that year is, but clearly it's not going to be this year. So, we're just going to have to take it for what it is and accept it. Browns, got much love for you. I've obviously been there as a fan with my team. Every team has been there where their team is just having it rough and they cannot get it together. And, shout out to you guys. Keep on being true fans out there. Got much love for you guys.
Very loyal fans.
Very loyal,
sure.
exactly. You got to love that. And a team, speaking of fans, that is lacking them right now, who's struggling, the Chargers. Do you see the Chargers bringing it back? Do you see anything, any type of hope?
I see hope that they start figuring things out, but it's just really hard to think that a team that starts off 0-4 is going to turn things around. I mean, because even it might be one game, but starting off 1-3 compared to 0-4 is a big difference.
It is.
And, who knows, maybe the Chargers can get a win next week against another defeated team who we will get to. But I think they get it turned around, and I think that Phillip Rivers will start playing better too, and I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. It's tough when you go in four. It's tough to think much of anything of that team.
It is, and I appreciate Philip Rivers, and I think he's a great quarterback. I think that it is a travesty that he has not been able to really get to the Super Bowl. I think
That's a real shame.
He's had windows, and I think his windows have closed unless he goes to another team. I don't see it happening with the Chargers anytime soon. He'd have to, honestly, if he goes to an NFC team, I think he has a better chance than sticking with the AFC, and that's just my personal opinion. And
yeah.
so,
I mean, he goes anywhere. He makes a lot of teams already. He makes them better.
yes, he absolutely will. But we're going to have to cut this short. We just did the whole AFC segment today. On Friday, we'll do an NFC segment, and we'll talk about the toughest divisions, and we will talk about those winless teams and those one-win teams. We will not neglect
We'll talk
the
about
NFC
the Colts.
Yes.
We forgot about the Colts.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. So we do have the Colts. The Colts are a team who I really do.
Because it's important that Andrew Luck's coming back. So
Yes. So that, to me, they can easily turn it around depending on if Andrew Luck is good to go. But I do want to get into this Thursday night football game before we do head out of here. We have the Patriots. We have the Buccaneers. Do you see an upset? Do you see the Bucs pulling off this upset and beating the Patriots, and the Patriots going 0-2 against NFC South opponents?
I do think that the Patriots win this game. I do think that it's going to be a high-scoring game. But I have a hard time thinking that the Patriots will have a losing record. I think that it's so weird talking about the Patriots like this, isn't it? I mean,
But I love
and
it.
to think that they just I'm sure there's a lot of people there. They're an easy team to hate, but I do think that they win. I do, and like I said, it's going to be a high-scoring game. It might come down to the last couple plays, last couple minutes. It's just, is this game in New England or is it in Tampa?
It's in Tampa.
It's in Tampa?
Yes,
All
it
right,
is.
well, regardless, I still think that the Patriots are going to win this game. Tom Brady, MVP candidate for sure. I think he's got the most passing yards in the league. He's going to have another great game. Yeah, I don't know. It's just I'm having a hard time talking about the Patriots like this. I don't know what to say because I'm a little confused. Is this what we're going to see out of the Patriots from here on out? I don't think it is. For everybody that's listening, Cordell's throwing his arms up in the air.
It's that time.
What do you think?
I'm tired of the dominance. I'm tired of, it's the Patriots. It's the Patriots. No. It's now things are interesting because now we just don't know. Now is when things are interesting because now it's suspenseful. It's not just a guarantee anymore. Things can switch up. And as I said, things can switch up. That means that they can go back to being dominant or they can stay in this funk that they're in. And I hope they stay in this funk that they're in. And I'm going to predict that they stay in this funk. I'm picking the upset. The Bucs are going to win this game. It will be a high-scoring game, but it's going to be the Bucs defense that is holding them just a little short as the Bucs are able to score just a little bit more, just like the Panthers game. It's going to come down to the wire,
Think so?
and the Bucs are going to pull it off. And
For any listeners that play fantasy and you got Mike Evans,
start them.
yeah, well, of course you're starting him. Starting him every week. But congratulations. He's going to get you a lot of points, for sure.
He is. He's going to burn. And
But you got Tampa Bay winning, huh?
I got Tampa Bay winning, and I'll tell you what. I even have Mike Evans burning Stephon Gilmore. I'm calling out Stephon Gilmore. He will get burned. There will be a touchdown scored on him in this game. I promise you. Because you know what? Stephon Gilmore, who came from Buffalo, went to the Patriots, and he decided to gloat, saying, now my friends can finally see me on TV because I got primetime games. Well, guess what? Your first primetime game, you got blown out, and you got burnt. And I'm guaranteeing in your second primetime game with the Patriots, you get burned again. And you lose again.
He's going to look to turn it around. Listen, I wouldn't be surprised if Mike Evans gets 2 touchdowns this game. But I do believe it will be in a losing effort, and the Patriots do go into Tampa and get the win.
All right, well, we'll see. Tomorrow night, it's going to be exciting times. We will not be on the air tomorrow because we will be watching football along with all the other fans that we have going on here. So we will be back. Yep, we will be back on Friday. Till then, this is the game plan. You're listening to Cordell Moody, of course, and we got my man Eric Alvarado. It's been a pleasure talking to you guys. Peace.
Peace.